Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at Text Talks Battletech Part 509,022. If that seems like a real number, well, your guess is as good as mine. I don't really know where we're at right now, other than it got to Korenski making smart decisions to go into the Rimworlds Republic and take all your shit. I've been told, though, very often and very enthusiastically that while right now Korenski is being incredibly tactical, incredibly well thought out and smart about everything he does without any interference from his own personal feelings, other than maybe saying no, but still, that was kind of a tactical decision. There's going to be one moment later, just one, where he makes an emotional decision, and I've reached that point where people on the internet are being considerate and not spoiling something. People on the internet being considerate scares the fuck out of me. That does not happen often, and when it does, oh boy, we are reaching that level. Yep. So we're just going to jump right in and see what happens and what's going to lead up to a very stoic Russian becoming an emotional person once. Just once. And why the fuck I should be terrified about that? For context, the last time people said anything about Battletech, and I was like, you know what, you're going to love this. We're not going to tell you in advance. It was about kilts. And if you get that reference, I'm being considerate on the internet by not saying why. Be afraid.
He didn't see the Rimworlds Republic as an enemy, merely, in this case, an adversary. He saw his job as to restore the peace from an unlawful usurper, not to punish a population or conquer purely defeat his army.
Just go for those goals.
Further, Korenski knew he had to crush the Rimworlds Republic to strand Amaris in the hegemony, to cut Amaris off from the resources of the Rimworlds Republic and prevent a difficult two-front war. Amaris flipped out at the impending invasion and almost immediately called on his hidden army in the form of formerly loyal periphery allies to assist. Most chose now to do what Korenski had done to Amaris. Say no. Amaris had betrayed them after all.
But
a bare few moved to reinforce Amaris's holdings, but for the most part, the stage was set for what unfolded.
I'm actually surprised some actually followed him.
Split his forces to conquer effectively, with commands each having objectives, timetables, and resources appropriate to their abilities and talents. Further, he split some of his forces to go conduct reconnaissance in the hegemony, just a poke at Amaris and me.
Sorry, I just... Amaris is sending people, or probably platoons or groups, to poke at his enemy, and I'm sure they never responded. Yes, I am very much just looking at the irony of the situation that the last video ended with reconnaissance being sent, or sorry, I can't speak today. Reconnaissance being, there's the word, there's an extra S at the end, being sent by Korenski into the hegemony to figure out what's going on and never hearing back. If this doesn't exactly happen to Amaris now in return, it's like just a mirror of what was done to them earlier. And I love the sheer irony of, well, oh shit, my home was taken over? I need to send troops. Why can't I send troops? The troops are all dead. This doesn't look good. It's literally a turnabout of previous circumstances. It's, in terms of brilliant writing, I love this. Again, I know I gush all the time about Battletech's writing being really tight and the lore being really damn tight. And it might just be because of how Tex is presenting, in which case, yeah, no. I mean, the Black Pants Legion and Tex did a great job doing that. That's just obvious because you're here. You realize that. But damn it, I love the sheer irony of, hey, remember when you did this to me? Fuck you. Is it intended that way? No. Will it work that way? Yes. No, I just love it.
Make him wonder if it were all a diversion. Korenski put half his army under the command of his trusted adjutant, General Aaron de Chevalier. Their forces ran with 3 armies each and 4 in reserve. The plan was to rapidly punch through the hegemony and roll them up before any counterattack was possible.
Oh, it's probably one of
leaving the capital for last.
Libyans?
Korenski sent a message to Amaris' stooge running the...
You know, my first thought was, oh dear God, it's a noble from 40K. I mean, between the jowls that decide to escape from the face that are just pulled back at the cheekbone, the extra, it's not even an extra chin, it's like an extra cleft on top of the extra chin. Like, when your collar has to contain additional chins, and it's failing because it looks like the chins are part of his stomach. Oh, And then just the eyepiece. I can't tell if it's an implant or just a really fancy monocle. Literally, this guy is 40K. Honestly, for 40K, he's very toned down. On the other hand, oh, wow, that is fucked up looking. Yeah, I know, Amaris is stooge, but sorry, I didn't realize Battletech had people who looked this kind of fucked up. Usually they're kind of fucked up as 80s rage art. If you know what I'm talking about, you realize that is an incredibly accurate description. This is just, okay, humanity was a mistake art. Oh, wow.
Rimworlds Republic, as Amaris was busy playing police state in the hegemony.
Accurate.
Korenski offered surrender and no ill treatment if the Rimworlds Republic would merely stand down.
Yeah, right.
Amaris' stooge said no.
Not surprising.
And then Korenski attacked. In theory, what Korenski intended was considered to be...
You know how I was going on a few seconds ago about the irony of circumstances being turned around? So the person left in charge telling the aggressor no when they made an offer of surrender. It's not nearly as epic this time around, but the irony here is not lost on me. It is significantly visible, and I kind of love this.
Near impossible, if not exceptionally difficult, and doubly so with an army that effectively had no reserve or logistical support other than what they carried, scrounged,
I mean, at this point, they're just fighting to see if they can get a better deal.
Any significant
or hope
losses,
that they get reinforcements, which I doubt they will.
Chance to replace
that would
anything.
Destroy everything
Their
Amaris did.
numbers of mechs, tanks, rifles,
more than
bullets, and band-aids were finite. At first, Korenski was cautious, both to spare his own men material losses and the civilian population the cruelty of war. But when the hidden army failed to respond to Amaris and the Rimworlds Republic failed to counterattack, it was on like Donkey Kong. And the outcome was pretty fucking incredible. Korenski...
Okay, I love this. Just from a sheer, we've been beaten down, we've got hit by every single thing that could possibly happen to us state. That's basically where Korenski's coming right now. Also, Fallen Stars. Nice. Armstrong. Nice. Nightwish? Seriously, they have to be choosing these names intentionally. Sorry, I just never actually looked at the names here. I just kind of ignored them. It's nice. But more importantly, I love how at every step of the way, he's like, we're going to go in small. We're going to spare them the harm of horrible war. Also, they're going to pull some shit because they've done that every step of the way. Followed by, wait, there's no terrible shit happening. And then it gets on like Donkey Kong. That is the best way to put it. But I love that moment where you're just like, okay, he's being careful. He knows something's about to happen, followed by, it can't be that easy. Oh shit, it's that easy. Yes, they went full meme well before Into the Spider-Verse came out. So I guess, I'm just going to attribute it anyways, because why not?
Conquered all 248 worlds in 3 short years.
That's it?
To say this was a Blitzkrieg is a massive understatement. That's
I think that actually outdoes Amaris.
7 defended garrison militarized populations a month. One by one, the worlds fell like clockwork.
Honestly, it might have taken longer if the guy actually surrendered.
The SLDF was Korenski's tempered vengeance visited upon Amaris' legacy while
tempered vengeance, nothing.
Carefully sparing damage to civilian infrastructure. What's worse, unwilling to budge his own forces to assist, Amaris could only sit and watch from occupied Terra as his home.
Okay, I have a few questions. One, what is Dark Nebula? I thought it was just like a holdout that was unrelated, and it very well might be, but it almost looks like a region of space no one can enter. Huh. Also, Apollo is the home base. Of course it is. And there's also Black Earth. Really? Durf. Who names these things? I want to live on Durf. Granted, it's basically Earth, but dumber. Dumb Earth. Oh, that makes sense. Whatever. I wasn't even joking when I said, if the guy just surrendered, it might not have. It would have probably taken longer because there would have been treaties, there would have been talking back and forth, arranging surrenders. This way, it's more ha ha ha, guns go boom, and it worked. I want to say that this is kind of even more impressive than what Amaris did, but I wouldn't go that far just because what Korenski did is just a really smart tactical man in a position where everyone else said, go fuck yourself to Amaris when he was asking for help because he didn't think they would actually not jump at the obvious trap. And he can't reinforce himself to any significant extent, because that would destroy the point of having made the obvious trap of the hegemony in the first place. Like, I have an impenetrable fortress. The fight is not here. Fuck. Sorry, so much of this, every step of the way in the previous video, every part of this one so far has been Amaris pulling something out. I just realized there's someplace called Anywhere. I guess it's anywhere but there. Seriously, who names these things? It's just been Amaris pulling out all the stops, winning and doing horrible things. And here it's just a matter of, fuck you, Amaris. And it's just so massively just cathartic. I didn't even realize I needed catharsis because I was impressed with Amaris, but now I do, and I love it.
Dark one system at a time.
Ironland?
The Rimworlds Republic forces had the benefit of preparation and an extensive home field advantage.
What the hell is this?
Further, they were bolstered by paramilitaries and extensive security forces.
And they're being taken on by tanks.
However, they didn't have the numbers of the SLDF. Korenski embraced his tactical advantage and just steamrolled them into the earth while they died defending.
If you can fire 10 guns that aren't as good as the one they're firing against,
many Rimworlds units threw down their arms, risking the wrath of political officers none too pleased. The reason for abandoning the cause was simple.
Die.
They saw themselves as citizens of the Rimworlds Republic first and supporters of Amaris as a distant second. Amaris had failed them and they weren't willing to die.
I love this. The same betrayal that led the Outer Rimworlds, not the Rimworlds Republic, like the actual worlds on the Rim, to turn on Amaris and say, fuck yo, to give all the support and intel to Korenski. His own people are doing because he's a distant figure that they don't really care about. And by distant, I mean he's literally distanced himself from them by going as far away they can possibly get from the Rim without going to the other Rim. Literal center of everything that they all hated because he said they should hate him and because his family said they should hate him. The only thing I can think of in modern history would show just how batshit stupid this is, but also completely predictable in the most unpredictable way that no one would ever believe possible, would be to say that this is a situation of Kim Jong-un taking over Washington, D.C., and then his people turning on him because they were like, wait, what? And he's not coming back. And he's ignoring us. Also, he now really likes this place that he's going to stay forever, ignoring the fact that he's horrible. But we're just going, really? Really, bitch? Really? It's that level of what the fuck happened? Did this become a thing? I love this. It makes sense in the most stupid way possible, but also a completely believable way. Again, Battletech, it kind of works.
For a bib-wearing overlord? No. They were more inclined to follow Korenski, and some did. Korenski allowed them to serve, and some would, with distinction, try to right the wrongs of their former overlord. That's not to say there...
That guy's face. Oh my god. I don't even... Sometimes you see a face in Battletech and it looks stupid. Other times you see a face and it's like, wow. And right now I'm at the wow face because I know exactly who that model is based on. Just think. It rhymes with Eddie Mechwarrior. Just think about it. Look at that mustache and tell me I'm wrong. And the pose. Yep.
Weren't some holdouts. Some die-hard Rimworlds Republic soldiers would just feign surrender to detonate suicide vests, echoing the sentiments of the periphery just a few short years earlier. As the Rimworlds Republic government fell, armed militants and militias rose to fight their former overlords, the SLDF, or each other. Mass stockpiles of weapons found their way to the hands of increasingly angry populations intent on shooting anyone not aligned with their ideology. There was something else to consider as well. Authoritarians have a bad habit of leaving people in charge that they can trust rather than someone with a spine.
1, yes. Very much accurate. 2, normally this is where I would say if he's going to hold this, Korenski has a problem because an insurgent population, while not as devastating militarily, is just annoying because it can be anywhere, it can be anyone. And unless you're going to go full-on evil empire and destroy everything, it doesn't really work. You just have to win hearts and minds. Oddly enough, though, Korenski's goal isn't actually antithetical to what's going on right now. It doesn't actually compete with that. He doesn't want to hold the Rimworlds Republic. He just wants to break it so he can send resources and also take those resources. He doesn't need to hold it. He just needs to take their shit and leave after breaking them so they can't restore anything what Amaris has. And I mean, if it means coming back every now and again and breaking more of their shit and taking more of their shit, that would work. He doesn't actually need to fight all of the insurgent operations that are obviously coming up now. It kind of makes sense because it's not actually a horrible side for him. If he was trying to pacify the region, if he was being sent as part of the SLDF to make this less fucked up, it would be a slog and a bitch. But no, actually, at least based on how it's described, he's in a position where the stability of the area, while it's something he seems to be taking account of, isn't his goal or the motivating factor. So it's not nearly as devastating as it would be otherwise.
Naturally, the administrator left in charge of the Rimworlds Republic, while loyal to Amaris and a capable bureaucrat, was, at most, a spineless yes-man. Korenski conquered his
a yes-man getting power from an asshole in charge that's a dictator. Never would have thought.
Time span considering the above complications. I'm sparing you the details of a 3-year campaign at this juncture, so that I may perhaps revisit it in detail later for future broadcasts.
Oh shit, he's actually doing it. Wait, that was 591.
All
Never
that was
mind.
left was Apollo, the capital of the Rimworlds Republic.
Wait, what? The jerks from the Battletech cartoon are from here? Wait. Is that... No, he was mentioning the Rimworlds. Somerset. Wait. Oh, yeah, because in lore... Sorry, this is one of those things where this had to have come out before it was made official, but I wonder if this is now official because he made the joke in here. People have told me a lot, and honestly, pretty amazingly, that the people at Battletech, I think, I'm not sure if it's Catalyst Games or the ones before or after it, just love Tex's stuff. So they've taken a lot of his stuff and made it canon in some way, shape, or form. And I know the cartoon was something they just said was an in-universe propaganda against the clan. When he says it's from here, did he mean the people who made the cartoon in-universe or the people who would have been from the clan who went there? Because I thought the SLDF was doing it, but I could be very mistaken. Nope. Wait, makes more sense. It's definitely people who made the cartoon in-universe. It was like, hey, remember those guys who like a couple 1,000 years ago, however long ago, they kind of kicked our asses, took over, and we kind of just sat there and like, okay, yes, bastard, please don't murder us, please. Yeah, let's make a cartoon that makes them look incompetent and stupid. All according to plan. I'm going with that as my actual headcanon. Is it real? Actually, it might be. I'm going to go with it, though.
Korenski had approached Apollo carefully, saving it for last. He'd thoroughly isolated it before this point, blocking HPG traffic that the SLDF decided the Rimworlds Republic didn't need to hear. Fleets patrolled the system to ensure no use of pirate points for messages or reinforcements, and jump points were now long secured by the SLDF. Korenski wanted the leaders of the Rimworlds Republic to sit in communications blackout, wondering what the hell was going on, stewing in their own fear. In fact, Apollo had been cut off through careful maneuvering by Korenski for well over a year by the time he struck. Korenski took to the field, making planetfall himself to find loyalist Amaris forces engaged in a brutal suppression campaign against their own people. Further, newly constructed fortresses provided some resistance, though they were dangerously undermanned.
So he's actually the liberator now against his own people.
Security had obviously been an issue for some time.
Whoever's in charge
Before long, the SLDF had things in hand, with defectors and surrendering Rimworld's forces deeply straining the SLDF's capacity to hold prisoners of war. By the time the SLDF dropped in on the grand capital of the Rimworlds Republic, the SLDF were seen as heroes and liberators by a war-weary population. The average Rimworld citizen had long been under the thumb of a ruthless tyrant from a family of tyrants, and for the first time in their lives had a chance to live the promise of a freer life.
You know, there was a lot of things I was expecting. Insurgent campaign? Sure, makes sense. People betraying Amaris because you betrayed us? Sure, makes sense. Kind of surprising when it happened, but in hindsight, makes sense. And this one, it's kind of like that. In hindsight, yeah, he's horrible. He's not here. And the stooge in power is gone. Soon, maybe. They haven't really covered that yet, but essentially he's already lost at this point. There's really no other way to look at it. But I wasn't expecting at any point, at any time, as soon as I learned who Amaris was, for parties for the SLDF and parades, apparently drawn right here, in the capital of the Rimworld Republic. That was not something I was expecting, especially since the entire, in later eras, the clan actively hunted for anyone with any relation to the Rimworld Republic. I wasn't told if it was just anyone from the Rimworld Republic or anyone with Amaris' blood. I don't know, and Battletech seems more general. Maybe it's more Amaris' family. But also, anyone from the Rimworld Republic in general sounds just genocidal enough that also it's perfectly believable, because that's a thing that happens. Yeah. It's not like a warrior society would hold a grudge against the people that they ultimately deem responsible for their initial failure of their forefathers. That would never happen.
When the SLDF rolled into Amaris' capital, they found the streets full of jubilant celebration upon their arrival. To hear still. And Amaris' chancellor hanging from a lamppost.
Oh, never mind, he dead.
The government of the Rimworlds Republic was
so they Mussolini'd him.
Its soldiers dead.
Top dog. You know, someone was like, hey, let's make a Top Gun reference, because 80s. And then, oh shit, no, can't do that. Top dog instead, yeah, because they won, yeah. Definitely that, and not anything else. And everyone wondering about the Mussolini comment. In World War II, when Italy was losing, and it became obvious what was going to happen, in the sense that they were losing, a very put-on populace literally took Mussolini into the streets and hung him up, I think from a building. It might have been an actual fixture. I think it was an actual building, though. And that's how he died. That's how that entire section of Italy stopped being part of the Axis. They literally took him out themselves. And here, they just Mussolini'd Amaris' stooge. Yeah, that makes sense. Crazy still to believe anyone here. I mean, if I'm surprised, can you imagine how weird it would have been if they ever set a game in this era, because I don't actually know if there's any video games or anything set up for battles in the Rimworld Republic as the SLDF. Considering Battletech, it probably very well could happen. But here, it's just a matter of you walk into the campaign. Suddenly, they're not actually fighting. You just have to make sure to survive to the end of the map without crushing one civilian. Have fun. Also, I am going to fuck you up with difficulty modifiers. It's like that random, this is not actually a game, I'm just screwing around with you in an RPG session that you would expect. I also did not definitely just give myself an idea for a D&D campaign that might be evil. Then maybe a one-shot I've been working on. I should not talk about it out loud, because that would give away the game. Yeah. Oh, that would be deliciously evil.
Surrendered or defecting. Its bureaucracy in pieces and its government stockpiles either seized by the SLDF or looted by growing warlords. Korenski was not interested in garrisoning these worlds with any force. He aimed to rapidly move on as Inner Sphere houses rapidly mobilized their own forces to absorb portions of the once mighty Rimworlds Republic for, provisionally, their own good. After all, it's free real estate. Through Great House annexation.
Judging you so harsh for that one. And this is the one time, and I can't believe I'm saying this, considering what we've been told about Amaris, and then his incompetent successors-ish, anyone is probably a better choice. Because while the great houses have some truly incompetent leaders, they also have, because Battletech does this, also kind of competent leaders to balance them out. Unless you're Kurita for some reason. Just seems like every time I hear about them, it's like, hey, yeah, we're the justification for why the clans weren't actually the bad guys. Specifically in the invasion era. Yeah. Makes sense. Pretty sure that was
many worlds of the Rimworlds Republic would, in time, become the periphery-facing territories of the Lydran Commonwealth and other nation-states. Some would splinter off to become pirate kingdoms, fiefdoms, and micronations. In time, others would disappear completely. content to be ignored by the galaxy at large.
Wait, they were actually ignored?
Korenski did not have time to think about the fate of the Rimworlds Republic. Again, he took time to consider the path forward. The Rimworlds campaign had taken a toll on his forces, but by now the SLDF was well practiced in moonlight acquisition. Every world they conquered,
in other words,
they stole
what
supplies
everyone from here on
of
out
armaments,
does.
tech, and
Take
parts
shit.
from the Rimworlds Republic military and defensive industries storehouses.
Oh!
Every time.
Oh, now that's interesting. I wasn't really sure what I was looking at here, but it looks like he actually has a backpack unit of the Jaws of Life to rip things open. Oh. Well, that's really cool, but also there's like a gas feature and you can see steam coming out. It's definitely doing something. It looks like the Jaws of Life, but it's a backpack unit instead. Really cool that that's actually just something they would draw in there. They could show it working. And they're both getting the pilot out who looks dead and getting into the mech to get some of the tech out of it and just more resources. Huh. Really love that they have art of that. Also, probably still alive because this looks like a medic, unless they've drastically changed what that symbol means in the future.
Time a ship became stranded, damaged beyond repair, or decrewed, they stripped it for parts and moved on. Every time a regiment was appreciably reduced in manpower, Korenski would fold in another and then keep fighting. The once fairly green pre-periphery insurrection SLDF was now a veteran of many hard campaigns, each and every unit filled now with hardened, battle-scarred veterans. While equipment would be maintained, the SLDF was slowly losing its strength all the same. Korenski knew that...
Okay, I just need to say the obvious here. Who puts a silencer on a rocket launcher? Like, it looks like a rocket launcher, or is this an energy weapon? I don't know, but just with that shoulder-mounted design, that makes me think rocket launcher. And this muzzle looks like a silencer. I don't... Is it even... Yeah, it's definitely a rocket because you can see the backblast being let out. Cool design, but also, I don't get this.
The SLDF was slowly losing its strength all the same.
Yeah. So in other words,
Korenski
they got
knew
resources,
that they
but not
needed
enough.
time to rest, for training camps to be set up, and for new blood to fill its depleted ranks.
Do they have time?
Korenski, being not a moron,
it's a
decided to wait a few
war.
years to rebuild and thoroughly explore how to utterly destroy Stefan without
good, he didn't rush
eradicating
forward.
the cradle of humanity in the process. Amaris had spent his time digging in. The Rimworlds
How do you dig
Republic
him out?
army is slowly making the hegemony a death trap. Each and every world prepared for invasion that was not only possible, but now inevitable.
Yeah.
Cut off from his beloved Republic and watching Korenski smash it from afar had made Amaris a wee bit bitter. This steeled his resolve to resist at all costs, for there was no going home now. There was also the consideration of watching your own home slowly burn, and
I want to just make the obvious change here. While it's his home, he means the actual building probably is on fire. The bigger insult here, and I'm not going to be surprised if Tex gets to the next few seconds, would be everyone cheering the people who just came to kick your shit in. Yeah, that populace that loved him and supported him and they definitely wouldn't say anything while he was there to shoot them in the head. Funny how that turned around really fast. Yeah. Also, why is this guy wearing a bullet shell? Squid? Cool. Visor? Cool. I do not get this. Like, literally, he took a missile's head cap and put it on his head. I'm just going future tech on this one, leaving it at that. But more importantly, it almost feels like he's focusing so much on a war-footing defense against massive armies. The only way to really get around this with any success would be, well, to take a playbook from Amaris, not just the page, but the entire playbook, and go subterfuge and small unit tactics that are just too small to really trigger anything. What that would mean, I don't know if that'd be a person with a suicide bomb, just maybe dropping rocks to destroy planets, or, I know, everyone's going to be like, well, they won't do that. I'm like, Amaris might. Korenski, really doubt it. I don't think any of this is going to happen. It almost seems like you need to pull in some kind of asymmetrical warfare to get around the fact that he's hardened himself in hegemony to such an extent. The only ways around it would be non-anticipated aspects, unless you want to go massive war of attrition, which might still be what happens. I honestly don't know. Very curious.
what that does to a man. In the case of Stefan Amaris, it drove him slightly crazy.
More crazy?
Well, crazier.
Okay, better. And that was actually art of him.
For
in the
years
throne room.
now, the heart of Star League had been under the thumb of Stefan Amaris.
Oh, man, we're on part 3. And that was, to at least me, the shocking conclusion of Korenski invading the Rimworlds Republic. And it went all right. Was not expecting to ever say that in any way, shape, or form about anything relating to Battletech. It's kind of like saying good things happened in any franchise with sci-fi that's not Star Trek. And even then, depending on what you're talking about. Yeah, it just usually seems in Battletech it's going to be one bad thing after the other. And they make advances, and then they make stupid but predictable mistakes based on human stupidity and greed, usually a lot of both together, that destroy things. But then someone would get better, but then they really don't. Do I sound like I might be ranting? No, actually, I think this is perfectly viable. It makes for a very entertaining storyline, and I love it. I just wasn't expecting it to actually work that well. I was expecting it either to gloss over because it worked well and they didn't spend time on it, or shit went bad and they had to come over it somehow, and maybe that's what led to some kind of change that led to the Exodus. But we're not even there yet, and they've won, and it went well, and things were interesting, and I love this. I love Tech's portrayal of it. I love how he's getting into the detail. I love how there's an entire joke he made about it in a future episode about the war. And I would love to see that. I like how he goes into detail. God damn, you can barely see it, but right above, right here, I have the models I started collecting from Battletech. I got them because I love Tech's covering this shit. There's not enough hours a day just to record all these. And I want to. You have no idea how tempting it is. If I wasn't promising to do something for my wife that I should have done 15 minutes ago and I haven't yet, I still need to record this video and edit it and other things that I'm really hoping she doesn't notice the time about, I would be doing this again. Unfortunately, I kind of fucked up on scheduling and now I'm a little bit late. Yeah, I should probably end this video and start doing something else now. I'm in trouble. Yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have cut this video a lot shorter than I did, but I really had fun. God damn it, why does it have to be so good? Actually, no complaints about that. I'm not even going to joke about that. I love this shit. But yeah, I might be in trouble. Yeah. Send flowers or band-aids. Take your pick. Yeah. All the same. Thanks for watching, everyone. You guys know the deal. Link below, original video. Tex and the Black Pants Legion. Hey, I actually said it right. Nice. Do a great job. Hit them up. And we're done. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe here as well. And if there's anything I should specifically look for without spoilers, let me know, because I do actually read the comments. I usually just do it late at night and I'm tired as hell and I actually forget to respond. Or I fall asleep holding the A button down and then it just kind of crashes. Very annoying when that happens. But yeah, all the same, do that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.